Boom! A loud bang sounded in the air. The Fifth Realm Battle King was forced back, and Su Jingxing's Dharma characteristic, the giant riding the dragon, also dissipated. However, Su Jingxing and Pan Funan had already flown dozens of kilometers out. Pan Funan retracted his Dharma characteristic. His main body was emitting smoke and panting like an ox. The two of them did not stop and continued flying fast towards the upside-down mountain peak. This run lasted for most of the day. When they were close to the base, Pan Funan couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed on a patch of sand, unable to get up. Su Jingxing stopped as well. He scanned the surroundings with his divine consciousness and remained vigilant. It was mainly to guard against attacks from void beasts and void world monsters. After a long time, Pan Funan regained his energy and sat up to adjust his aura. Su Jingxing did the same. He controlled his spiritual essence to sweep around his body and comprehend the mysteries after the battle with his Dharma characteristic. When it was about time, he took out the cards from the soul space through the primordial spirit on Earth Star and read the information. He read through more than 400 cards extracted from the corpses. Most of them were black body cards, followed by the divine power cards containing 3 heads and 6 arms. The primordial spirit finished reading all the cards. He obtained 386 black body cards, 11 skill cards, and 12 divine power cards. In other words, he had enough of the cards that would unlock to give the 3 heads and 6 arms. Su Jingxing already had 1 card. Now, he had obtained 12 cards, making a total of 13 cards. If he unlocked 9 cards at the same time, he would be able to obtain the divine power, 3 heads and 6 arms. He had made a killing on this operation. The 11 skill cards all contained star techniques cultivated by the battle race. They required the bloodline of the battle race to unleash their maximum power. Su Jingxing could cultivate them with his main body. After all, he had a spiritual martial body, and his physical body was stronger than that of a 3rd realm or 4th realm member of the battle race. However, in terms of might, none of these star techniques exceeded the firmament nirvana palm. They were either 3-star or 2-star. Perhaps the star techniques cultivated by a 5th realm battle king were of a higher level. For this reason, Su Jingxing did not unlock it to cultivate. Instead, he put them away as backup. There were 386 black body cards. Including the 138 cards previously accumulated, there were a total of 524 cards. He could use them again. The black body card was directly used on the spiritual martial body. He wondered how much he could transform after using these 500 cards. He looked forward to it. Finally, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit read the 14 cards extracted from the Thunder Cloud Thread Insect Corpse one by one. They were all Thunder Gathering cards. As the name suggested, the Thunder Gathering card could gather lightning and thunder to detonate and attack the enemy. Hey, wait a minute. Suddenly, the gaze of the primordial spirit froze. With a solemn expression, it carefully comprehended the information contained in the Thunder Gathering card. Destruction Dao Sentiment. After unlocking the Thunder Gathering card, it could actually release a trace of Destruction Dao Sentiment. And the Destruction Dao Sentiment came from the Law of Destruction. In an instant, the primordial spirit trembled slightly. Su Jingxing's emotions also fluctuated. The reason why he lost his composure was because there was a very high chance of comprehending the Law of Destruction through comprehending the Destruction Dao Sentiment. The most important power to destroy the void world was the Law of Destruction. At this moment, through a Thunder Gathering card, Su Jingxing actually saw an opportunity to comprehend the Law of Destruction. Surprise! Compared to the Black Body card and the Divine Power card, the Thunder Gathering card was the true surprise of this operation. Ha ha ha! Su Jingxing's main body suppressed his joy, while his primordial spirit completely let loose. On Earth Star, in the Unation's void world territory, it laughed heartily. Destruction Tao Sentiment, the Law of Destruction. Comprehending the law of destruction would allow him to destroy the void. Not only could destroying the void unlock the upper levels of the cosmic tower, it could also remove the threat on Earth Star. This thundercloud thread insect could be said to be Su Jingxing's lucky star. Of course, to comprehend the law of destruction, one thunder-gathering card was not enough, nor were 14 of them. 114 cards or 1,114 cards might do. At this thought, Su Jingxing made his decision. "Brother Pan, how is your recovery?" asked Su Jingxing, looking at Pan Funan. "I'm almost fine now," replied Pan Funan, exhaling. "All right, please stand guard for me, Brother Pan," Su Jingxing requested bluntly. "Of course." Pan Funan stood up and said seriously. "All right, I'll be at the foot of that mountain." Su Jingxing pointed at a desolate mountain hundreds of meters to his left. With that, his figure flashed and he flew over at high speed. Pan Funan watched as Su Jingxing landed at the foot of the desolate mountain. He retracted his gaze and released his divine consciousness, vigilant of his surroundings. At the foot of the mountain. Su Jingxing first released his divine consciousness and scanned his surroundings. After confirming that there were no other lifeforms around, he took out 9 divine power cards from his soul space and put them together. He unlocked them together and obtained the divine power, 3 heads and 6 arms. The moment he gained it, his spiritual martial body and primordial spirit body trembled slightly. His muscles and bones shook at the same frequency. Although the feeling faded quickly, Su Jingxing still sensed some changes in his spiritual martial body and primordial spirit body. This change was the prerequisite for using 3 heads and 6 arms to transform. Su Jingxing calmed down after getting used to it. The next moment, he took out 524 black body cards and unlocked them one by one, using them on his spiritual martial body. There was no reaction from 5 or 10 cards. There was only a stir after 20 cards were used. With 50 cards, the commotion increased, and the 100 cards finally affected the entire body. Every cell in his spiritual martial body was vibrating. 200 cards, the vibration frequency increased. 300 cards, the vibrating skin particles were visible to the naked eye. 400 cards. The spiritual martial body alternated quickly between being corporeal and illusory, vibrating so much that it was invisible to the naked eye. 500 cards. Boom! There was an earth-shattering bang. Above the desolate mountain, a thick bolt of lightning suddenly descended from the sky, tearing apart the thick thundercloud and struck Su Jingxing. Pan Funan, who had been vigilant of his surroundings, felt his heart skip a beat. He adjusted his gaze and his pupils constricted when he saw Su Jingxing at the foot of the mountain. This is... Boom! 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 Thunder shook the sky and lightning tore through the air. At the foot of the desolate mountain, the space where Su Jingxing's body was suddenly collapsed, revealing the endless dark void behind it. Thin purple lightning bolts emerged from the void and struck Su Jingxing's body. Void Divine Thunder. Fong Polu, whose face was pale, appeared beside Pan Funan. He looked at Su Jingxing at the foot of the desolate mountain and said in surprise, "He's transcending the void lightning tribulation to break through to become an overlord." Fong Polu's mouth fell open in shock. How old is Kong Xian? He's already transcending the void lightning tribulation. That's right. He's starting the void lightning tribulation now. Pan Funan's eyes lit up as he murmured dreamily. He was also in the Dharma characteristic realm, but he had never had the opportunity to break through to the space-crushing realm and become an overlord. No one knew how old Su Jingxing was, but he looked 1,000 years old at most. Similar to the divine martial arts primordial spirit system, in the spiritual martial arts system, the age at which one becomes a spiritual martial artist would determine one's subsequent appearance, according to the age of the spiritual martial artist. For example, Pan Funan. He was 35 years old when he succeeded in spiritual martial arts. Then, all the way until the present, more than 3,000 years had passed, but he still looked 35 years old. At Pan Funan and Fang Polu's level, they could still tell if Su Jingxing had disguised himself or not. In addition, Fang Polu could vaguely sense the power of time. The first time Fang Polu met Pan Funan, he knew that the latter was also an old man, who had lived for more than 1,000 years. However, Fang Polu did not see much power augmented by time on Su Jingxing. This meant that Su Jingxing was young. Not only young, he was very young. At most 1,000 years old. No, probably not even 100 years old. A spiritual martial arts overlord who is less than 100 years old. Fang Polu fell silent. Boom. 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 At the foot of the desolate mountain, Su Jingxing's spiritual martial body endured the cleansing of the void divine thunder. From the inside out, it cleansed, tidied, adjusted, and transformed. Void lightning tribulation. Su Jingxing had never thought that he would be cleansed by the void divine thunder at this time. It hadn't been long since he broke through to the Dharma characteristic realm. His Dharma characteristic had just fought for the first time not long ago, and now he was actually breaking through to the space-crushing realm and transforming into an overlord. Unlocking 500 black body cards in one go and using them on the body of a spiritual martial artist would trigger a void lightning tribulation. Who the F***ck would know that? Of course, it was already too late for Su Jingxing to be shocked. The most important thing now was to successfully transcend the void lightning tribulation and advance to the space-crushing realm to become a one-tribulation overlord. If he failed, his spiritual martial body would be finished. It would be struck by the void divine thunder until nothing was left. The void divine thunder was more than 3 times stronger than the star lightning tribulation. For martial artists of the divine martial arts system, when they break through to the meditation realm from the grotto heaven realm, and when a 5th realm devil king breaks through to the 6th realm, they would undergo star lightning tribulations, suppressed by the will of their world or planet. Spiritual martial artists were different. They transcend the void lightning tribulation, divine lightning and thunder from the void. The killing power of the void divine thunder was the most terrifying. The thundercloud thread insect had only guided 1 or 2 strikes down, but at this moment, there were dozens or hundreds of them raining down on Su Jingxing's body. Su Jingxing didn't know how much void divine thunder he had to withstand to overcome it. All he could do was erupt with all his strength and resist. Roar. The Dharma characteristic, giant riding the dragon, was the first to move, circling around Su Jingxing's main body. More than 700 years of spiritual essence cultivation was mobilized to execute the firmament nirvana palm to strike the void divine thunder head-on. Boom! 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 A deafening bang spread in all directions. Terrifying lightning and thunder filled the sky and ground, gathering in a radius of 1,000 meters around the desolate mountain. Pan Funan and Fang Polu had long retreated far away before the void divine thunder implicated them. Team Leader Fang, do you think he will succeed? Pan Funan murmured. Fang Polu was silent. After a while, he said softly, I don't know. For spiritual martial artists, transcending the void lightning tribulation was more than 10 times more dangerous compared to divine martial artists. If Kong Xian was careless, he would be reduced to ashes. Fang Polu was not sure if he could succeed. Pan Funan fell silent. Boom! The air trembled. The might of the firmament nirvana palm was pushed to the extreme. A giant palm imprint appeared in the air to neutralize the first wave of power of the void divine thunder. Roar! 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 The Dharma characteristic, giant riding the dragon, roared and neutralized the second wave of power. Buzz buzz buzz. Su Jingxing's spiritual martial body trembled non-stop as he endured the final cleansing of the void divine power. His spiritual martial arts divine consciousness was also tempered to maintain his consciousness. At this moment, his spiritual essence cultivation, physical strength, Dharma characteristic power, divine consciousness, and soul power were all cleansed. While enduring the transformation, they also neutralized the damage. The terrifying pressure from the void divine thunder caused all living beings within 1,000 miles to tremble from the soul. Boom! 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 A loud bang that seemed to tear through the sky dispersed all the thunderclouds and reverberated in the ears of all living beings. People from the Void Resistance Alliance's base at the nearest inverted mountain peak had arrived. Upon hearing the commotion, the battle race, demons, and devils also flew over from thousands of miles away. They wanted to stop Su Jingxing from breaking through to the space-crushing realm and becoming an overlord. The Void Resistance Alliance naturally disagreed. The battle race, the demons, and devils' unwillingness for the Void Resistance Alliance to gain an additional overlord was proportionate to the Void Resistance Alliance's desire for Su Jingxing to succeed. As such, the two sides began a huge battle in advance on the periphery of the lightning tribulation. Su Jingxing didn't know any of this. At this moment, he was already numb to the void divine thunder. He could not sense if his spiritual martial body still existed. His spiritual essence cultivation was exhausted, and the giant riding the dragon was struggling to hold on. It was all thanks to his primordial spirit that he could persevere. The benefits of both spiritual martial arts and divine martial arts were completely reflected at this moment. If Su Jingxing had only gone down the spiritual martial arts path, his consciousness would have been destroyed, and his spiritual martial body would have died along with it. The reason was that he had not fully unleashed the power of his Dharma characteristic. Relying on the forced advancement of the 500 black body cards, the power of the Dharma characteristic did not have much strength. When he unlocked the black body cards one by one, Su Jingxing had been sensing to make sure that he could withstand the transformation. However, Su Jingxing was really unprepared that 500 black body cards could attract the void divine thunder. Overdoing it? Su Jingxing was speechless, but he could only hold on. Fortunately, he had a primordial spirit. Far away on Earth Star, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit maintained its will and consciousness to resist. The void divine thunder targeted Su Jingxing's main body. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, which was guarding Earth Star, had to endure the torture as well, but it could bear it. Now, it all depended on how long the void divine thunder would strike for. Su Jingxing's main body was numb. Right now, it was the primordial spirit that was fighting to the end. Boom! 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 Divine lightning and thunder surged out of the endless void and struck Su Jingxing's body one strike after another. Slowly, the number of divine lightning bolts decreased. From dense to sparse, until finally, they completely disappeared. The collapsed space around him automatically recovered. Su Jingxing's spiritual martial body shone brightly in the darkness. As for the originally desolate mountain, it had long been reduced to dust by the void divine thunder. Without a single piece of cloth wrapped around him, Su Jingxing sat naked in the sand. His consciousness slowly returned until he opened his eyes, which shone brightly. Success. Relying on his primordial spirit to resist, his spiritual martial body successfully transcended the void thunder tribulation and advanced to the space-crushing realm, becoming an overlord. Of course, he was currently a one-tribulation overlord. However, his combat strength was stronger than that of ordinary fifth-realm devil kings and martial artists in the Grotto Heaven realm. 500 black body cards to become a one-tribulation overlord. This frightening surprise was ultimately obtained. Success. Did he succeed? He must have succeeded, he definitely succeeded. If he had failed, how could he still maintain his human form? He would have long been reduced to ashes. That's right, we have another spiritual martial arts overlord. Spiritual martial arts overlord. Spiritual martial arts overlord. Cheers. Shouts. Screams. All kinds of sounds entered his ears from all directions. Su Jingxing subconsciously released his divine consciousness to scan his surroundings. He realized that there was no living creature within 1,000 meters of him, but beyond that, humans, members of the battle race, demons, winged ones. The various races were engaged in a chaotic battle. Many of them were extremely powerful. When his divine consciousness swept past, it instinctively avoided them. A huge battle. Have battle race and the demons launched an attack. Su Jingxing suddenly came to his senses. He quickly took out a set of spare clothes from his soul space and put them on. Then, he got up and flew into the air. Swoosh! At this moment, a figure pounced over at lightning speed. A cold and unconcealed killing intent locked onto Su Jingxing. Here to kill me. Su Jingxing growled and circulated the power of his spiritual martial body to punch at the figure that was pouncing over. Boom! A thunderous explosion erupted in the air. Everywhere the fist energy passed, space shattered inch by inch. The materialized fist imprint directly struck a 4-meter-tall demon with a pair of sharp horns on its head and black gas surrounding its body. With a strange thud, the demon's body cracked, and its huge body retreated uncontrollably. In midair, a large cloud of blood mist erupted. Finally, it crashed to the ground with a loud crash, creating a huge pit. All right. An excited shout sounded. You defeated the Demon King with a single punch. As expected of an overlord of the human race. Boom boom boom. A violent explosion came from all directions. Let's go. A roar in the battle race's language spread in all directions. On the battlefield, the battle race, the demons, and the devils retreated without stopping. In the air, as far as Su Jingxing could see, there were many casualties among the teams of the battle race, the demons, and the devils. Earlier, when he scanned with his divine consciousness, he extracted a large wave of cards. Function cards were bound to be extracted on the battlefield. Swoosh! With the sound of rushing wind, Pan Funan arrived beside Su Jingxing. Congratulations on becoming an overlord, Brother Kong. I'll have to address you as Overlord Kong from now on. Huh, not bad. I'll have to address you as Overlord Kong from now on. Fong Polu flew over and said happily. Brother Pan, Team Leader Fong. Su Jingxing nodded at the two of them and smiled. There's no need for that. I was just lucky. I almost died just now. Speaking of which, I have to hand it to you, Brother Kong. Pan Funan sighed. When you asked for me to stand guard, I'd thought that it was an ordinary comprehension. I never thought that Brother Kong was making a breakthrough, and it was to transcend the Overlord Tribulation. An Overlord Tribulation. It's something I think of even in my dreams, but Brother Kong broke through just like that and even succeeded in the end. So, you're envious, are you? Teased Fong Polu. If it were you, wouldn't you be envious? Pan Funan glanced at him irritably. Ha ha ha. Fong Polu laughed out loud. Yes, everyone was envious. Although the Overlord realm of spiritual martial arts corresponded to the Grotto Heaven realm of divine martial arts, its actual combat strength was much stronger. Even Fong Polu, a peak Grotto Heaven cultivator, did not dare to claim that he could defeat Su Jingxing. A spiritual martial arts overlord was just that domineering. Swoosh! Swoosh! The sound of rushing wind sounded again. A few figures flew toward Su Jingxing from afar. Fong Polu introduced them to Su Jingxing. Brother Kong, this is the chief of our alliance, Yang Qingxian. Fong Polu pointed at a middle-aged man with a medium build and an elegant temperament, but his eyes were so deep that they seemed to contain thousands of spinning stars. Greetings, Chief. Su Jingxing cupped his hands at the chief of the Void Resistance Alliance, whom he had seen from afar in the base. Congratulations, Overlord Kong. Yang Qingxian smiled and nodded. I've always heard that the human race has overlords, but I've never seen one. Today, my wish has finally come true. It's not just you. I've never seen one either. A man with sharper ears and a human appearance echoed with a smile. I've been to hundreds of worlds and seen many spiritual martial artists. This is the first time I'm seeing an overlord. This is our deputy chief, the leader of the spirit race, Lei Zhen, Fong Polu introduced at the right time. Greetings, Deputy Chief Lei. Su Jingxing nodded at him. The leader of the spirit race, a sixth realm spirit king, was comparable to Yang Qingxian, who was in the meditation realm. He could not be underestimated. Congratulations. With the birth of a human overlord, the success rate of us destroying the void has increased again. A woman and a winged old man congratulated and laughed respectively. This is the leader of the heavenly race, Jiang Yun. This is the leader of the winged ones, Feng Yan. Fong Polu introduced them to Su Jingxing. Greetings. Su Jingxing nodded at the two of them. Then, he looked at Yang Qingxian and asked, Chief Yang, aren't we going to take the opportunity to chase and hunt them down for a while? The battle race, the demons, and the devils had retreated in a hurry and did not run far. If they gave chase and killed a group of them, they would definitely be able to inflict heavy losses. No need for that. Yang Qingxian shook his head. Our goal is to destroy the void, never to fight the battle race and the demons to the end. It's enough to force them back. Although we can kill many if we give chase, we will also suffer casualties. In the end, the gains won't make up for the losses. Most importantly, after killing this batch, the battle race and the devils will continue to come from other worlds to quickly replenish their numbers, Lei Zhen added. More will come. Su Jingxing was surprised. Why is the mastermind of the void world doing this? I don't know. Lei Zhen shook his head. Yang Qingxian replied in the silence, it should be related to the annexation of the void world. If more high-level creatures descend on Kuntian, it will affect the speed of the annexation. So, the mastermind behind the void world specially controlled the number of high-realm lifeforms in Kuntian? Su Jingxing was surprised. Most likely. This news was surprising and puzzling. The annexation of the void world was shrouded in thick fog. There were too few clues to figure it out. Yang Qingxian was mostly making guesses, detailed information was limited. Su Jingxing wanted to understand more, so he returned to the inverted mountain peak with Yang Qingxian and company. Along the way, the crowd on the ground cheered non-stop. The addition of such an expert among the experts of, a human spiritual martial arts overlord, to the Void Resistance Alliance, brought a great boost in morale. After returning to the base, they immediately celebrated. As the main person involved, Su Jingxing was naturally present. He was dragged away by Pan Funan and Fong Polu for a good drink. The Kuntian world was about to be annexed by the Void World and all countries would be destroyed. However, the Void Resistance Alliance did not lack resources. On the contrary, they had a great abundance. The reason was simple. The ones who survived were at least martial artists in the top ranks. All of them had stored countless supplies through their spatial equipment before the Void World's annexation. A primordial spirit basically did not need to eat or drink, and martial artists also ate very little after their physical bodies entered the transcendent grade. Only when they were celebrating or feeling frustrated would they bring out food and drinks. As a result, there were still plenty of supplies today. In different worlds, the taste of food was naturally different. Su Jingxing tasted everything and drank a lot. Even though for Su Jingxing, all the food would be absorbed completely after, it was not bad to have a taste. The day after the celebration, Su Jingxing went to Yang Qingxian and told him that he was going out. Initially, Su Jingxing wanted to find an excuse, but Yang Qingxian readily agreed without asking anything. To Yang Qingxian, Su Jingxing could leave the base at any time and no one could stop him. Su Jingxing still informed him because he didn't want to cause a misunderstanding. That he had run away in fear right after becoming an overlord. Su Jingxing naturally understood why Yang Qingxian readily agreed. It was enough that they had confidence in each other. Su Jingxing's goal in leaving the base was simple. To kill the thunder cloud thread insects and extract the thunder gathering card. The strongest sixth realm existence in the Kantian world right now. With Su Jingxing's strength as a one-tribulation overlord, even if he couldn't win, he could still retreat easily. Therefore, Su Jingxing returned to the valley where he was ambushed again to search for the thunder cloud thread insects. Along the way, shuttling through space was several times smoother and faster than before. There were no longer any obstructions as he shuttled through space. This was something that had never happened before. In the space-crushing realm, shattering space was easy, as simple as breaking tiles. The power from the void was augmented on the spiritual martial body through the cleansing of divine lightning. As a result, Su Jingxing was now immune to the power of space with his pure physical body. After entering the territory with dense lightning and thunder, the lightning that struck down from the sky was guided by an invisible force and automatically deflected and struck into the distance. As such, Su Jingxing walked as if he was strolling in his own backyard. When he arrived at the valley, he scanned with his divine consciousness but did not find a single member of the battle race or any demons. The fleeing thunder cloud thread insects did not return either. Su Jingxing soared into the sky and shuttled through the thunderclouds. His Dharma characteristic eyes scanned the ground. He had wanted to circulate the heavenly secret arts for divination, but the heavenly secrets of the Kantian world were in chaos and could not be deduced at all. Only then did he switch to his Dharma characteristic eyes and scanned each area one by one. The thundercloud thread insect loved areas where lightning and thunder gathered. Su Jingxing quickly found a valley where many of them were gathered. Immediately, he executed his divine power, command the winds and fire. He unlocked a flame card and guided the energy in the thunderclouds to sweep into the valley. Hoo hoo hoo. Boom. 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 Strong winds howled and swept through the world. Blazing and terrifying flames burned the air and incinerated everything. Before the thunder cloud thread insects could escape, they were ignited, detonated, or broken. Cards plus 30. Card plus 41. Su Jingxing shuttled through the thunderclouds and controlled his divine power to sweep through the valley and kill one thundercloud thread insect after another. He immediately extracted the thunder-gathering cards one by one. Roar! Roar! The thundercloud thread insects on the periphery sensed danger and escaped. They were very fast. In an instant, they sank underground or burrowed into a mountain peak and disappeared. Boom! Su Jingxing turned into a stream of light and burrowed into the ground, creating a passageway and going deep underground. The reason for this was because his Dharma characteristic eyes had seen a huge space underground. More giant insects had gathered in the underground space that was 1,000 meters deep. It wasn't just the thunder cloud thread insect. Other insects were also moving. In other words, this underground space was an insect cave. Su Jingxing went straight into the insect cave to catch them all in one swoop. Dong, dong, dong. His physical strength erupted, and the hard ground easily shattered. A 2-meter-wide straight passageway appeared, leading from the surface into the ground. When Su Jingxing came out of the passageway and stopped in midair, all he could see were giant insects. The underground space he was in was also bigger and wider than what the Dharma characteristic eyes had seen. Be it the east or west, north or south, even with Su Jingxing's vision, he couldn't see the end. It was a miracle that such a large underground space could exist. Roar! A loud and distant roar sounded from the depths of the cave. Roar! Roar! The giant insects that were originally lying everywhere lifted their various heads and roared in unison when they heard the sound. Then, they looked at Su Jingxing who was in midair. Roar! Roar! Pooh! 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 Swoosh! 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 Without any hesitation, these giant insects quickly attacked. Poisonous smoke, poisonous spikes, poisonous fangs, death rays, poisonous liquid. Instantly, a wave of energy rolled madly towards Su Jingxing. Humph! Su Jingxing sneered in a low voice. The Dharma characteristic, giant riding the dragon, appeared in the air. An invisible force was released, and a boundless pressure bloomed. Bam! 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 Space shattered. Everywhere it passed, poisonous smoke disappeared, poisonous spikes shattered, poisonous fangs disintegrated, and the death rays vanished. Before the giant insects could get close, Su Jingxing disintegrated them. The next moment. Swoosh! Swoosh! Su Jingxing tore through the air. In a flash, he searched for the thundercloud thread insects and killed them one by one. Instead of using the energy-consuming firmament nirvana palm, he used the meteor fist with pure strength. One punch after another accurately struck one thundercloud thread insect after another. Bang! 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 Card plus 31. Card plus 47. The extraction notifications flashed past. In midair, Su Jingxing followed the distribution of the thundercloud thread insects and killed his way from east to west, all the way to the center of the underground space. He then spotted a huge, terrifying insect that was more than 10,000 meters long. The other party had a skin membrane covered in sarcomas, and pieces of disgusting scars. As they moved, it was as if there was life within. As soon as the incomparably dense rotting smell approached, Su Jingxing was forced to quickly hold his breath and circulate his soul power. This frightening giant insect was lying on the ground and did not move much. However, all kinds of giant insects were crowded around it. These giant insects extended their tentacles and stabbed into the huge abdomen of the massive insect. With Su Jingxing's Dharma characteristic eyes, he could clearly see that these tentacles were constantly absorbing unknown energy from the insect's body. Feeding? No, not feeding, but absorbing the energy of the giant insect? Su Jingxing's eyes flickered as his mind raced, guessing all kinds of possibilities. At this moment, a heartfelt desire to absorb suddenly emerged and filled his mind. Go eat. Go over and eat this energy. Crazy thoughts kept surging into Su Jingxing's mind. Like those giant insects, absorb the unknown energy in the terrifying insect's body. What the f***ck? Can humans eat this as well? Moreover, the desire to absorb was so strong that even Su Jingxing found it unbelievable. The energy in this giant insect's body was actually attractive to him. Should I give it a try? He watched as the giant insects absorbed the energy from the insect happily. This thought popped up in Su Jingxing's mind. Let's give it a try. No. Just as he was about to take action, Su Jingxing suddenly came to his senses and shook his head as he retreated. Absorbing unknown energy was no problem. However, the subconscious in the depths of his heart told him that the impact of consuming these energies was huge. It would have a very serious impact on him. But Su Jingxing couldn't put his finger on what they would be. The heavenly secrets of the Kuntian world were in chaos. It was impossible to deduce using heavenly secret arts. However, Su Jingxing's subconscious was extremely strong. The more he sensed it, the more he knew he couldn't feed on the energy. In short, this terrifying giant insect was useful to Su Jingxing, very, very useful at it. However, he couldn't kill it. He had to keep it alive. Capture it? Su Jingxing forced himself to calm down and think of a solution. Although this terrifying giant insect was huge, it did not pose much of a threat to Su Jingxing. The real threat came from the other giant insects around it. If there was to move the insect away, he could just deal with the other giant insects. The problem was, how could he move this terrifying insect that was 10,000 meters long away? Even if the other party lay on the ground motionless and did not resist at all, allowing Su Jingxing to move it, he would not be able to do so. It wasn't that Su Jingxing had no strength to lift it, but that he couldn't bring it out of the underground space. The passageway he came down through was too small to accommodate this terrifying giant insect. Even the soul space and the bone bracelet space could not accommodate such a huge creature. He couldn't possibly destroy all the layers above this underground space and expose the entire underground space to the sky, could he? That wasn't impossible. With Su Jingxing's current strength, it would only take him a little more time to destroy this 1,000-meter deep layer. However, if he really did that, it would definitely attract the attention of the battle race and the demons. The other giant insects in the underground space would not let Su Jingxing take action either. Therefore, he had to think of other ways to capture the terrifying giant insect. Use cards. Far away on Earth Star, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was searching for function cards that could be used in his soul space. Scapegoat card, illusion card, nightmare card, invisibility card. They were all cards that could be of great use, but in the current situation, they were useless. Wait. Suddenly, Su Jingxing's eyes lit up. He took out a special card from a pile of newly extracted cards. Sky Imprisonment Card. The name was very domineering, imprisoning the entire sky. He only learned of the ability of this Sky Imprisonment card after holding and reading the information. Although its ability was not as exaggerated as imprisoning an entire sky, it did have the ability to imprison and came with its own domain space. It could be said that this was a special domain card. It possessed a domain space with a huge range. This space could also imprison other lifeforms. Humans, the battle race, demons, devils. As long as one was not in the fifth realm and possessed the power of the law of space or was able to crush space, this Sky Imprisonment card could imprison them. Does the terrifying giant insect have this ability? Su Jingxing held the Sky Imprisonment card and looked at the terrifying giant insect and the various giant insects around it with bright eyes. In the next moment, his figure flashed and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was above the terrifying giant insect and he executed his divine power, command the winds and fire. Who? 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 Boom. 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 The astral winds and flames born from the true fire of the void instantly surrounded the terrifying giant insect and burned fiercely, sweeping out crazily. Roar. Roar. Roars and snarls immediately detonated in the underground space. The giant insects roared and shuttled through the ground and in midair. They either dodged, searched, or even destroyed the astral winds and flames. The result was obvious. As long as Su Jingxing did not retract his divine power, the winds and flames would continue to exist. Without the corresponding restraining method, they would not disappear. Not only were the giant insects' attempts ineffective, they even implicated themselves. Card plus 36. Card plus 29. The extraction notifications flashed past. Su Jingxing took out an invisibility card, unlocked it, and applied it to his body. In a flash, he landed on the surface of the terrifying insect and sensed this strange insect that was extremely smelly but also made one want to eat it. His divine consciousness scanned the insect's body inch by inch, but he did not sense any spatial fluctuations. Immediately, he unlocked the Sky Imprisonment card and used it on the terrifying giant insect. Buzz! A wisp of golden light instantly broke through the assembly of other energies. The gathering of light was like a gauze robe that covered the terrifying giant insect in less than 2 seconds. Then, this huge insect that was more than 10,000 meters long was pulled into the Sky Imprisonment card with a whoosh in Su Jingxing's vision. After absorbing the giant insect, the glowing card quickly dimmed and fell from the air. Swoosh! Su Jingxing naturally wouldn't let the card fall into the pile of insects. He had long prepared to grab it from a distance and put it into his soul space. In the next moment, the divine power, command the winds and fire, was boosted. It was pushed to the maximum and swept through the surroundings madly crazily. The giant insects that were blocking and defending crazily in every corner pounced at him. The function of the invisibility card seemed to have disappeared at this moment. These giant insects seemed to have an eye that could break through illusions as they swarmed toward Su Jingxing and surrounded him. Boom! Su Jingxing released his overlord suppression and wrapped it around his body as he charged towards the dome. Amidst the loud bang, a huge hole was forcefully created, and the hole extended towards the surface, forming a passageway. Boom boom boom. Earth and rocks shattered and the ground cracked. Su Jingxing forcefully opened up a passageway from the bottom up. Below, the giant insects were hot on his heels, roaring non-stop and chasing after Su Jingxing with all kinds of attacks. All the way up. Accompanied by a loud bang, the ground shook. Boom! With a loud bang, Su Jingxing returned to the surface. He rushed out of the ground and soared into the sky, disappearing into the dense thunderclouds. Roar! Seeing this, the other giant insects that had chased Su Jingxing to the surface snarled angrily and indignantly, venting their anger. Thump! 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 The ground shook, and the deafening sound spread far and wide. Ha! In the air, Su Jingxing ignored the lightning. He held the sky imprisonment card in his hand and looked at the image of a mass of a fleshy insect on the front of the card. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. This strange giant insect was trapped in the sky imprisonment card and was unaffected by the passage of time. It was equivalent to being frozen and not needing to eat, drink, and defecate. Su Jingxing had plenty of time to slowly study it. Therefore, after reading and sensing in detail, Su Jingxing put the sky imprisonment card back into his soul space. Next, he continued to search for the thunder cloud thread insect and extract thunder gathering cards. The terrifying giant insect he wanted to eat was just an accidental discovery. The thunder cloud thread insect was Su Jingxing's true target. In the previous wave, he had extracted more than 100 thunder gathering cards. But it wasn't enough. Without even trying, Su Jingxing knew that it wasn't enough. Therefore, he had to continue searching for the thunder cloud thread insect. Once he found them, he would kill them. Boom! Boom! Thunder clouds filled the sky, surging endlessly. Amidst the might, lightning kept shooting out. Su Jingxing shuttled through them and scanned the ground below with his divine consciousness. Before long, he found another batch of thunder cloud thread insects that had gathered together to form lightning and thunder pools. He executed the meteor fist and his overlord's might erupted. Whoosh! 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 Boom! 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 The fist imprint tore through the air, tearing through the airflow. It accurately landed on the ground, hitting the lightning and thunder pools and killing the thunder cloud thread insects. Card plus 27. Card plus 31. As the extraction notifications flashed past, the lightning and thunder pools on the ground extinguished and the thunder cloud thread insect died. When all the thunder cloud thread insects were killed, Su Jingxing extracted more than 150 thunder gathering cards again. Not enough. Continue. Hoo hoo hoo. Thunderclouds rolled and astral winds broke through the air. He shuttled through the thunderclouds to search for the thunder cloud thread insect. All that were found were killed and cards were extracted. The number of thunder gathering cards kept increasing. 300 cards. 400 cards. 500 cards. Not enough, not enough, not enough. Su Jingxing's subconscious kept reminding him that there weren't enough of them. He needed more thunder gathering cards, more thunder cloud thread insects. Batch after batch of thunder cloud thread insects was found and killed. When he found another gathering place for the thunder cloud thread insect, Su Jingxing finally encountered the battle race and the demon race. The new overlord of the human race? Are you the one hunting the thunder cloud thread insects everywhere? The stiff question came from a 5-meter-tall, pitch-black demon who was emitting a terrifying pressure. Sharp bone pieces that resembled blades extended from his head, shoulders, arm's length, knees, and feet. His eyes were red as he stared fixedly at Su Jingxing. That's him. I don't know what this fellow is up to. He's looking for the thunder cloud thread insects everywhere and killing them one by one. Beside the demon, a member of the battle race sneered and said, "Fortunately, we arrived quickly and reached this area before him. Otherwise, the thunder cloud thread insects here would have been killed by him." Swish. Su Jingxing suddenly disappeared. Not good. The man exclaimed with a grim expression. Scram. The demon man shouted angrily. The torrential demonic energy transformed into a materialized black cloth that swept through the sky. Boom. Su Jingxing appeared and broke the black cloth with a palm strike. He also released giant palm imprints that struck the thundercloud thread insects on the ground. Bam! 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 These thundercloud thread insects died on the spot, without exception. After extracting the thunder-gathering cards, Su Jingxing decisively broke through space and escaped into the void. Don't even think about running. The man from the battle race growled. With a bang, he revealed his true body. 3 heads, 6 faces, 6 arms, and 12 hands released a fearsome suppression. One punch followed another, shattering space and forcing Su Jingxing to appear. Hoo. Su Jingxing used his divine power, command the winds and fire, and unlocked a flame card to maximize the power of his divine power to resist the man's madness. The divine power, the eyes of panic, looked at the demon man. Their gazes met from afar. One of them was a 5th realm demon king, and the other was a 5th realm battle king. Su Jingxing couldn't guarantee that the divine power, the eyes of panic, would work. However, Su Jingxing didn't want to get entangled with them in this situation. Using his divine power to deal with them was the best solution. The eyes of panic met the gaze of the 5th realm demon king, and the latter's body suddenly trembled. In the next moment, he couldn't control himself and stepped backwards. Success. Su Jingxing's eyes lit up. He retracted his divine power and quickly rushed over to meet the 5th realm battle king head-on. While the 5th realm demon king was temporarily affected, he had to deal with the 5th realm battle king first. Boom. Space shattered. Su Jingxing used his pure physical strength to receive a punch from a 5th realm battle king who had manifested his true form. The air where this punch landed turned into a vacuum. The 5th realm battle king's huge body retreated, and a bloody mist erupted from its arm. Roar. The pain and shame made the 5th realm battle king snarl. The other arms attacked Su Jingxing even more crazily. Energy wreaked havoc and shattered everything. Boom. Su Jingxing sank and attacked the lower body of the 5th realm battle king. The might of an overlord erupted. He only threw 6 consecutive punches and broke a leg of the 5th realm battle king. In an instant, the 5th realm battle king swayed and fell towards the side and onto the ground. B*****. The 5th realm battle king roared angrily. Suppression, aura, the innate ability of the battle race, and boiling blood were released at once to envelop Su Jingxing. Chi. 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 Mist immediately appeared in the space where the two of them were and wrapped around them. Su Jingxing felt blood surging and couldn't control himself. Immediately, his figure flashed and he rushed to the other thigh of the 5th realm battle king. Swoosh! The sound of rushing wind came from behind. Su Jingxing was about to break the 5th realm battle king's second leg when he sensed danger and decisively retreated to avoid the attack. Swish! 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 He shuttled and leaped out of the battlefield. He turned his head slightly and saw the 5th realm demon king standing in front of the 5th realm battle king, glaring at Su Jingxing. But he did not attack again. Scared? Su Jingxing was slightly surprised. Then, he chuckled and waved at the two of them before quickly flying away. The Fifth Realm Battle King and the Fifth Realm Demon King stood rooted to the ground and watched as Su Jingxing left and disappeared. Were they afraid of Su Jingxing? No, it was more accurate to say that they were wary. The name of the human overlord resounded through countless worlds. The Fifth Realm Battle King and Demon King had never met one before. They only knew how powerful a human overlord was, but they had never fought one, so they were rather dismissive of him. However, in the battle against Su Jingxing just now, the two of them joined forces but did not gain any advantage. The Fifth Realm Battle King even had one of his legs broken. He was instantly awakened. The reputation of the human overlord was real. If the two of them joined forces to fight to the end, they might be able to fight to the death with Su Jingxing. But was that necessary? No matter why Su Jingxing was killing the thundercloud thread insect, this matter did not have much to do with them. The death of all the thundercloud thread insects had a limited impact on the overall situation. It was no big deal if Su Jingxing really killed them all. Therefore, there was no need for them to fight to the death with Su Jingxing. Letting Su Jingxing go was good for everyone. Hoo hoo hoo. Strong winds howled and thunderclouds rolled. After leaving the Fifth Realm Battle King and the Demon King, Su Jingxing quickly found another batch of thundercloud thread insects. Attack, kill, extract cards. The total number of thunder-gathering cards successfully reached 900. He stopped to sense if there were enough to comprehend the law of destruction. After a while, Su Jingxing put away the cards and continued on his way, searching for the thundercloud thread insect. 900 cards were still not enough. Similar to what Su Jingxing had sensed at the beginning, he needed to gather at least 1,000 thunder-gathering cards. However, there weren't as many of them as he had imagined. Su Jingxing searched many places for the last 100 thunder-gathering cards, but he only found a few dozen thundercloud thread insects. These thundercloud thread insects were even scattered everywhere, hiding one by one. As if sensing danger, the remaining thundercloud thread insects became more adept at hiding. It took Su Jingxing 10 days to gather the last of the thunder-gathering cards. He hit the minimum requirement, 1,000 cards. With the 1,000 thunder-gathering cards in hand, he could try to comprehend the law of destruction now. However, Su Jingxing thought for a moment and chose to do so in the Kantian world. The destructive Tao sentiment contained in the thunder-gathering card could only give a certain chance of comprehending the law of destruction, but it could not guarantee it. 1,000 thunder-gathering cards only amplified this probability a little. Similarly, there was no guarantee that he could fully comprehend the law of destruction. The power of laws also involved the great Tao of the universe. There were many particularities about when and where to comprehend them. The exact location, time, and even weather could affect the outcome. At this time, it was very necessary to choose the right place, time, and weather. The time and location could be roughly deduced through heavenly secret arts. 100% accuracy was impossible, but with vague guidance, the success rate would increase greatly. The heavenly secrets of the Kantian world were in chaos, and Su Jingxing couldn't carry out divination even if he wanted to. But there was no such trouble on Earth Star. That's right, Su Jingxing decided to comprehend the law of destruction on Earth Star. His physical body was in the Kantian world, and his primordial spirit was on Earth Star. Su Jingxing had conditions that others did not. At that moment, on Earth Star, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit in the U-Nation's Void World territory decisively descended from the Void World. Floating in the sky, it circulated the 6 comets' records to deduce the heavenly secrets and search for the best time and place to comprehend the law of destruction. Its consciousness was immersed in the endless sea of heavenly secrets. Under the mysterious guidance, he vaguely sensed a piece of information. The best time to comprehend the law of destruction was on the last day of the next month. Location, Green Cloud Mountain. Green Cloud Mountain, Green Cloud Mountain again. The small mountain range beside Qinghe City was very mysterious. Su Jingxing had been on Green Cloud Mountain the last time he cultivated the nation's fate soul skill. This time, when he sought to comprehend the law of destruction, he was also guided to Green Cloud Mountain. On the other hand, it wasn't surprising that the time was on the last day of the next month. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was already very satisfied with this outcome. There were still 3 days left until next month, so he would only have to wait for a month. Comprehending the power of laws was already as difficult as ascending to the heavens. There was no hurry and no point in rushing. With this in mind, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit calmed down and put away the 1,000 thunder-gathering cards. The mysteries of Green Cloud Mountain had surfaced many times. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit thought for a moment and simply descended on Green Cloud Mountain. It released its divine consciousness and carefully scanned the entire mountain range. From the inside out, from the surface to the ground, 1,000 meters underground, 2,000 meters, 3,000 meters. Even the collapsed underground palace in the center of the mountain range where countless bloodseeker beasts had charged out from was not spared. It headed all the way down to the core of the planet, but did not find anything abnormal. Is my divine consciousness not strong enough? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit frowned and pondered in silence. Swoosh! Swoosh! 2 figures suddenly flew over from both sides. One of them was a winged one with wings. It was Sha Lu, whom Su Jingxing had subdued. The other was He San Xiao, who lived on Green Cloud Mountain. The 2 of them arrived at the mountain peak where Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was. Seeing that it was Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, Sha Lu tactfully kept quiet. He San Xiao glanced at Sha Lu from afar and his gaze landed on Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. Greetings, Martial Sage Kong. Compared to before, all He San Xiao had for Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was respect, and not the slightest impoliteness. He already learned of Su Jingxing's achievements. As a dignified primordial spirit realm big shot, how could He San Xiao dare to continue addressing him as Brother Kong? You're being too polite, Brother He. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was fine with this. It asked calmly, Brother He has been on Green Cloud Mountain for a while now. Did you notice anything abnormal? No, He San Xiao shook his head with a smile. I only know that Green Cloud Mountain is special, but I have no idea where it is special. The primordial spirit was silent. A moment later, he looked at Sha Lu and asked, What about you? You've been on Green Cloud Mountain for a while. Have you discovered anything unusual about this mountain range? My lord, yes. Sha Lu's words were shocking. Are you sure? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, who had originally asked this question out of mere curiosity, lit up when it heard this. It stared at Sha Lu and said in a low voice, Did you sense wrongly? He San Xiao was also surprised. He was both shocked that Su Jingxing's primordial spirit had taken in a transcendent grade winged one as its subordinate and also curious about Sha Lu's discovery. He had walked through almost every corner of Green Cloud Mountain, but he found nothing. Now, Sha Lu said that he had found something. It was too shocking. Yes, Master. I did find something. Sha Lu replied respectfully, If I'm not wrong, Green Cloud Mountain is probably a two-world mountain. Two-world mountain. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit raised its eyebrows. He San Xiao was stunned. He couldn't help but ask, You're saying that Green Cloud Mountain is connected to another world? A two-world mountain refers to the mountains and peaks that overlap two worlds. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit looked at He San Xiao. That's right. He San Xiao took a deep breath. I only learned of this secret by chance previously. It said that before ancient times, Earth Star had once connected to other worlds, not just one or two, but several. At that time, Earth Star was equivalent to a transit station for other worlds. Countless living beings from other worlds passed through Earth Star to go to various worlds. These places where living beings pass through are where the two worlds overlap. They are known as two-world mountains, two-world cities, two-world lakes, and so on. This is not a legend, it's true, Xiaolu added in agreement. According to the records of the bloodline legacy of the Winged Ones, Earth Star was indeed a transit station before ancient times. Several transit points were set up.